radio program. This is the program today in the House of Representatives. It is an Avalon program that highlights activities from up Capitol Hill, making Liberians to hear and know what their lawmakers are doing in the best interest of this country called Liberia. It's on every Thursday at about this time, though we're coming on just late, but it's due to some unforeseen circumstance. However, but we're here to bring you the legislative program highlighting activities from up Capitol Hill has been relayed on the following radio stations across Liberia. The Voice of Hope in Plibo Sodican District in Maryland County, Radio Femiton in Magibi County relay. The program is produced and presented by the House Press and Public Affairs Bureau. My name is Robert Haynes. Today is Thursday, is the 30th of November, is the 334th day of the year. We are left with 31 days to close up 2023. Welcome to the program. I'm Robert Haynes. We're going to take a few bars of our team, so I'm here along with.
I'm Wiyh.
So let's take a few bars of our team, so we'll run strictly into it because we are coming on late and brace yourself, invite someone to listen with you as we talk about our happiness from up Capitol Hill. Welcome back to the program. We're again here on this Thursday to tell you the latest from up Capitol Hill. Yeah, guy. As we started on last week, we were here talk about issues. We had the outgoing chairperson on Rules Order and Administration, Honorable Johnson Gueglo. He was sharing his legislative experience and also advising those expected to take office in January of 2024.
Yes, we had an impactful conversation with Representative Johnson Gueglo of Neymar County District 9. And like you said, he's the chairperson on Rules, Orders, and Administration. Remember, he once served as the chairperson on education at the Honorary House of Representatives. And so it was a very impactful conversation highlighting achievements on Capitol Hill as part of the 54th legislature, and then some words of encouragement for members of the 55th legislature, because we are aware that comes January 2024, the members of the 55th legislature will definitely be seated.
Yes, of course. Let's look at those things that on the agenda to touch on today's radio program. The House of Representatives hopes to extend to adequately scrutinize the 2024 draft national budget and an HOR to make follow-up with the executive on audit reports from the General Auditing Commission, the GAC. Plenary requests its committees on investment and agriculture to report next Tuesday on the OPEC Fund for Development. House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers receives double invitation. Is continental invitation. He's to be a part of discussions on parliamentary road and security sector governance at an international roundtable discussion, which you're going to see is going to be the 80th section of the executive committee and the 45th conference of presidents of the National Parliamentary Assemblies of African Parliamentary Union. That will be in Abidjan. It's going to be in Abidjan, the Africa Coast, and then the other one will be in Nigeria. So that's a double continental invitation. The speaker will be attending, and those things, like we mentioned about a possibility of extension, because the House of Representatives is to close on the legislature in particular is to close on the 8th of December, and the budget is expected by the 26th day requested from the president. The budget is to arrive on the 6th of December. There's a delay there. It should have been since October. And so there will be delay. You cannot have the budget passed in the period of 2 days. So there's a possibility of an extension and so forth. Yeah.
Yes, so in keeping with the amendment to the Public Financial Management Law, the members of the executive, they are yet to submit the draft national budget for fiscal year 2024 to the legislature. And so, like you correctly said, as of Monday this week, the members of the Honor House of Representatives convened a leadership meeting, and it's a regular pattern on Capitol Hill that the leadership committee will meet and set the agenda for the week or so. And so, as part of the discussion, they had to get reminded of the delayed in the submission process of the draft national budget.
Mhm.
And that is in keeping with all communication from the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency President George Weir, to members of the House of Representatives requesting an extension in the submission period. And it's dated as far back as October 31, 2023. And, it coincided with the conduct of the elections because we had a runoff election and putting the pieces together. And in keeping with the Constitution, you know very well that all revenue and financial bills will emanate from the Honorary House of
Yeah,
Representatives.
it's scripted in the
Yes.
Constitution, Article 34DR of the
Yes.
Constitution says that all revenue or financial bills should emanate from the House.
Very well. And so the president has since requested an extension in the submission process. And so that was a conversation by the Honorary House of Representatives. And so, in keeping with the extension process as requested by the president by 26 days, and then so it tells you that the budget is expected now to be submitted sometimes in December. That's around the 6th. And then so it's going to be a short period for the revision because you know very well that there are two components in the budget revision process. You have the
The
expenditure
revenue.
and revenue components of
Right.
the budget hearing, and so the revenue hearing is going to be about the line ministries and agencies of government that are responsible to collect money to ensure that the budget is workable and achievable. So they will have to brainstorm. That will be a formal program. The opening ceremony will take place, and then they will have to revert to executive, where bulk of the conversation will be held behind closed doors. And then you have the expenditure process, where you have the line ministries and agencies of government will come now to explain the budget performance and to talk about how well they did implement the budget. And based on whatever is the outcome of the conversation, then the members of the House of Representatives and the Liberian Senate will not have to take an informed decision about the next budget period on the allocation process.
Right.
Yeah. So you have that long conversation, and so if the budget is going to be submitted probably around the 6th of December, and you have the Honorary House of Representatives or the legislature coming to a
Close.
closure about the 8th of December,
The time,
certainly
the time is
the
short.
time frame is very short and limited. So yes, like you said, a possible extension is in full swing because in as much as you have the closure period, you have to take care of salaries and other functionaries of the government, and that will coincide also with the transition process. Then it means you have to look forward. So yes, the members of the Honorary House of Representatives discussed that matter adequately in terms of the plea from the president, and then we will take a clearer picture into where we are in terms of the decision of the Honorary House of Representatives.
Yeah, that is fair enough. Of course, the country's national development envelope cannot be looked at within the period of 2 days. Having both the revenue and expenditure component, you have to be able to properly scrutinize the country's national development envelope, which is the budget. So it's possible that as the House hopes to extend in order to adequately scrutinize this budget. Remember, we now run a calendar year budget. It's no longer
Fiscal period.
fiscal period where we start
June, July, June.
right.
Yes, it's
And so
January,
it's not
December, January.
exactly. So now the changes that are being done in the public financial management law of 2009 now makes us now to run a calendar year budget. So the budget now
Will expire in December.
should have been submitted in October, October of this year, and that process will see the lawmakers to look at it, scrutinize it properly, and have it passed in December, so that it takes effect the first day of January in the new year.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that was that being done owing to the communication sent from the chief executive for an extension of
26
26
days,
days,
yes.
which started off of from the 31st of October. And in his communication to House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers, he said the interruption was as a result of the delay in the timely submission of the budget as stated in Section 17.1 of the amended and restated public financial management law of
2019.
2019. And you know that the president shall submit the proposed budget and accompanying documents to the legislature on no later than 2 months before the start of the fiscal year. All right. And so he said it was because of the election issue and so forth like that. But then the 26th day is to expire on December 6th, and the legislature is to close on the 8th. So it is not practically possible to have the country's national development envelope discussed and passed in 2 days. That's why in the wisdom of the lawmakers, very committed people in the wisdom of the lawmakers said, look, this is not going to be possible. We look to see what we do, probably to have an extension so that we can do the people's business as we always done.
Yes, and they're correct because, like we said, the two components of the budget hearing would include the revenue component and then the expenditure. So you cannot take a day to review the revenue portion of the budget, and you don't have the time to do it within one day. Also, the expenditure process, because you have line ministries and agencies of government come before the legislature to provide a breakdown of the previous budget.
Right. What did you do? We gave
Yes,
you
in
2
terms of
million.
allocation. Yes.
Right. What did you do with it? That is the expenditure component. And so the term is not enough to discuss the budget and pass it, and therefore there is a possible extinction. So let's see what comes up. The lawmakers are all committed to working in the interest of this country, and that's the reason why they cannot take 2 days to pass the budget, discuss the budget, and pass it. So,
and the passage is very much essential because, like you said, we are now gravitating and ensuring the implementation of the amended law in line with the public financial and management law of this country. So you must be in good standing with the law, or else then you run contrary to the amendments to the law.
Right, exactly. And so that is it. We hope we'll look to see that happen, to see a possible extension, so that the people's business can be done. We'll look at it from that perspective. Also on today, in plenary, which today was the 9th day sitting of the third quarter of the 6th section, and so the House of Representatives on miscellaneous Representative Clarence Mastercourt informed the body that the legislature will have to do a follow-up with the executive branch of government on audit reports that have since come from the General Auditing Commission. And normally the law provides that the General Auditing Commission, the GAC, after doing carry on audits, we have to be able to report to the people's deputies, the legislature. All right. And there's a committee there in the legislature called the Public Accounts Committee. That committee will be able to assess the audit report from the GAC and do a consolidated report or a kind of recommendation to the executive branch. As it stands, those reports from the General Auditing Commission that have been submitted to the legislature is not lying there at the legislature. The committee have since been able to look at those audit reports and have since done a kind of consolidated report in the form of recommendation to the executive. And so Representative Mastercourt was informing plenary that we need to do a follow-up with the executive branch of government on these audit reports with the recommendations that has since emanated from the Committee on Public Account, so that it doesn't appear that all the reports from GSC that was submitted to the legislature stay there lying down in realm, which is not the case.
Yes, so Representative Clarence Massacre of Lofard County, District 3, is one of those lawmakers who've been there and following up on things because he himself is respected of the law. And so, in as much as you spoke about that, and in keeping with the agenda of the Honorary House of Representatives, it provides that you can have miscellaneous and you can have discussion, even though you don't have it on the agenda, but miscellaneous is just a part of the agenda of the Honorary House of Representatives. So, as part of that, Representative Clarence Massacre now informed the members of the Honorary House of Representatives as to what is trending in public, because there is already a perception that out of the reports coming forth from the General Auditing Commission has been before the legislature, specifically the Honorary House of Representatives, and they are yet to take, a decision relative to those other reports. And like Director Haynes said, it is customary that the General Auditing Commission is clothed with the responsibility to audit the different functionaries of government, and as part of that, they are also on an obligation to submit their findings to the Honorary House of Representatives or the legislature in its totality. And so, based on the audits conducted by the GSC, they will have to definitely communicate with the Honorary House of Representatives on whatever the other reports are. And so, in keeping with that, there are reports on that the General Auditing Commission sent to the Honorary House of Representatives, and I can clearly say to you, sometimes this year there were public gatherings, because now it will interest you to know that whenever the reports are submitted to the legislature, the Public Accounts Committee now is clothed with the responsibility to ensure that there are public gatherings, and out of such, you have those gatherings taking place in the joint chambers of the legislature,
Right.
And so this year you had even it's open up to the press. You have the civil society organizations who come to listen to some of those other reports, because the GSC now will have to cross-examine or to further explain on some of those reports, and then you have the line ministries and agencies of government captured in the other report present to also make a statement. So you have the LRA, you have the Ministry of Finance, they're all coming and listening to the different arguments. You have the public. And so, yes, in keeping with that, the Honorable Legislature have been doing its best to ensure that those public hearings were held, stakeholders and the line ministries and agencies audited, come before the legislature, and of course the body listened to them, and the GSC is also there to also hear what those folks are saying. So in keeping with that, the legislature will compile now a report and forward such to the executive, and it is level of the executive, because there are recommendations contained in whatever is the outcome of the discussion by the Public Accounts Committee and all those concerned. So yes, indeed, we can safely say to you that the Honorary House of Representatives and the legislature in its totality have been working on those other reports,
Right.
as concluded by the GSC, submitted to the legislature, and they've been working on them, and they have concluded bulk of those audit reports and forwarded the recommendations to the executive,
right,
for implementation. So that's how it works. So all of the perceptions in the public that the reports from the GSC have just been there, and the lawmakers are now acting upon such, we can bring you legislative reporters who even cover a bulk of those events and things. So those perceptions are not good for the
But
public.
what, in fact, the very body that thought to get the LACC prosecutorial power will sit down, because
Upon reports that are coming from the GSC, that would not be the case.
exactly. So it is this 54th legislature that said, look, let's practically fight corruption, because long time we've been theoretically fighting corruption, calling the big names here public enemy number one, vampire of the Liberian society, and all that kind of stuff. But this 54th legislature, under the stewardship of Speaker Buffer Chambers, said, look, let's get the LACC prosecutorial power, so that when you are investigated, when you are being audited by the GAC, and that audit report gets to the legislature. In fact, when the LSCC takes hold of it, they have two divisions. One is there for an investigation, one is there for prosecution. Now, in a case like before, they have to pass through a lot of bureaucracy, submit you for indictment,
As
go to
far as
the
the Justice
justice
Ministry.
ministry, and so forth. So the very body that now practically fighting corruption will not want to get involved in corruption.
No.
And so the committee now
So they've been acting upon those reports
been acting
coming
upon
from the
it,
GAC.
and they have since recommended to the executive. And so on plenary now endorsed that yes, we'll have to do a follow-up with the executive branch of government on those audit reports.
And bulk of those gatherings on Capitol Hill are streamed live by online television.
Exactly.
So you can go to online televisions and watch bulk of those hearings, the GAC reports. You will definitely have access to such.
Exactly. The House of Representatives scrutinizing U.S. $20 million financing agreement as it has since mandated the investment and agriculture committees to probe. And so that was on today. His Excellency President George Wiyh wrote a communication submitting for ratification to the Honorable House of Representatives a bill titled Integrated Fisheries Sector Strengthening Project financing agreement between the OPEC Fund for International Development and the Republic of Liberia. The president said, under the project, which was signed on the 26th of October 2023, the OPEC Fund has approved for the Republic of Liberia a loan of 20 million United States bucks and a grant. That one loan now you got to pay it back. Grant mean you don't pay. Grant in the tune of 240,000 United States dollars. All right. So the loan is 20 million. Then the grant is 240,000 United States dollars. So today the House took a decision to forward it to the Committee on Investment and Agriculture, being the lead committee. And so they are to report. The both committee will report to plenary on next Tuesday, and then the plenary will act and take a decision on that.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons the project will definitely focus to improve the fisheries, that's fisheries management, while enhancing the livelihood and income project of beneficiaries. So it's squarely again towards the agricultural sector of this country, because fishery and thanks to NAFA, they've been doing very well in terms of the operation with fishing activities in country, and so the president is directing all of the support that is needed now to improve that sector, because when you have a loan come to the country, it is going to help to develop the country. It is going to empower citizens, and at the same time, when you have grants coming to the country, then definitely it can be used, to develop this country and have people, get jobs and get them paid well in the process.
Right, double invitations for House Speaker Balfour Chambers. He is to attend a roundtable, international roundtable on governance, Parliament role in the security sector governance. And so the first one is scheduled for December 7th to the 8th in Abuja, Nigeria Central Business District, where the speaker being invited. He is to also form part of a discussion on the role of Parliament in the security sector governance and reform in West Africa. It's been organized by Coral Adua Shifter. Is a German foreign office there in Nigeria. They are sponsoring this. It's in collaboration with the National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies. So it's from the 7th to the 8th of December. And the next one is that the roundtable aim to assemble legislators from Nigeria and West Africa, in the West African region, fostering meaningful deliberations on critical sector of the security sector governance and parliamentary oversight. So the speaker is a very serious man. and that's why he's been invited to these functions. And the next one, he's expected to go to um, the Ivory Coast, where he's going to form part of the APU, the African Parliamentary Union, a kind of discussion there, which is their 45th conference on presidents of national parliamentary assemblies of the APU, African Parliamentary Union. And that is expected on the 11th of December to the 15th in La Cote d'Ivoire.
This is not the first time that the honorary speaker of the 54th legislature, Dr. Bofo Chimers, will leave this country to provide adequate representation on behalf of the legislature. You may be aware that the legislature is in good standing with other parliamentary bodies across the world. Currently, as we speak, you know that the Liberian legislature has been represented at COP28. This is taking place, and the president of this country is also at that gathering, because whatever is the outcome of such discussion will come from the executive. And of course, we have to visit the legislature for ratification, or ensuring that the laws of that kind or nature will be domesticated to meet the standards of Liberia. So yes, the participation of the honorary speaker tells you that across the world you have leaders of parliaments converging in Nigeria to discuss, having a round table conversation, brainstorming, because it's good to hear from Liberia what you think about ensuring governance in your country and using the legislature as a case study. And so his participation is just going to elevate the conversation on behalf of Liberia. Then you have the speaker also listening to other members. Now, great to understand that our speaker, the speaker, because of the legislature that we have here, is a bicameral legislature. You have the Liberian Senate, you have the Honorary House of Representatives, and then following the completion of that gathering in Nigeria, the honorary speaker with his leadership is expected to travel on to Ivory Coast. And whilst the honorary speaker is there, you have like in Ivory Coast, you hear them say the head of parliament is la president. Sorry, I don't speak good French, but I think I try with it. Yes, but you have because they brand the speaker or the head of parliament as president, but in Liberia we have a speaker because we run a legislature, not a parliament.
Right.
So you have the speaker of the 54th legislature, as always, providing such representation on behalf of his colleagues. You have a very energetic speaker, and I know he's going to.
And also, he has been building the morale of the Liberian legislature.
Yes,
and so
very
the
well.
other time he was at Washington D.C.
Yes,
He formed
in the
part
US.
of the summit on democracy there, the Joe Biden summit on democracy. He was there in the US. And these things only come about when you have a kind of leadership in the legislature that build the morale globally, and so that Liberia gets to be seen on the global stage and to participate in these global conferences and so forth like that.
And because when you talk about security, considering the region, and then of course Liberia now is seen on
It's a
a
soft
very
spot.
yes, people are proud of Liberia, especially the role of the legislature in these electioneering processes of the country. And we've come up with
And our
flying colors.
democracy, our democracy has been true
very well because of the legislature, the stance of the legislature in passing key legislations that I govern this country properly.
Very well. Let's open the line, interact with the public a little bit. Of course, yes, it's about time we hear from you, Liberians, and those of you following up on the show. 0880-514-096, 0770-259660 are the numbers to be a part of the conversation. This is the program today in the House of Representatives. It is your legislative program where we tell you activities from up Capitol Hill, what your lawmakers are doing, policy decisions they've taken in the best interest of our country called Liberia. Let's take those concerns by you. 0880 514-096, 0770-259660 is your turn to talk. Let's get you on right here on the Husses Radio program. Let's talk. Let's hear what's obtaining from up Capitol Hill. Again, the numbers are 0880-514-096, 0770-259660. 9660. Let's go to the line. Take on this person calling. Good evening.
Good evening, and how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Tell us your name, where you call from.
Great.
Well, permit me to hold you there, and I'll get right back to you. Let's talk to Representative Clarence Masako, who today had this coming up about the issue of audits. Let's get Representative Clarence Masako. All right, Masako, good evening. Welcome.
Well, thank you so kindly, Robert. And Wiyh, it's an honor to be on your line. I normally don't call in, but thanks for the program. And I just like to re-emphasize that it is a statutory responsibility for the GAC, the line of reporting. The GAC reports to the national legislature.
Right.
And you rightly said that I emphasize two issues today. One, we spend millions of the Liberian people money to pay staff of the GAC, support the programs. But we also realize that when the audit reports come, the reports allege sometimes misapplication or misallocation of resources. I emphasize the issue of statute of limitation, and that is the reason why it's very, very important that we be able to implement the audit reports in a timely manner, and I emphasize that.
Right.
So, for example, if there's an audit and the audit alleges that $1 million, for example, was misapplied, and that report is sent to the office of the president. If the president takes 5 years to implement, then the statute of limitation kicks in. So, in other words, you lose on the amount of money that was allegedly stolen by whoever the auditee is.
Then the person goes scot-free.
The person goes scot-free because under the law you have statute of limitation that affects some crimes. So the point I'm making here is that the legislature, using its power of oversight, should make sure that the executive implement the audit reports.
Right.
So how you say that? It is left with the executive. Yes, it is the responsibility of the executive, but the law mandates, it's actually a mandate that we should be able to implement the audit reports. That's why when the audit report comes to the legislature, we do everything possible to go through the reports and refer it in a timely manner so that so that the executive too is left with enough time to implement. But if it is not implemented, as in the case, I was a member of the PAC and I know that we forwarded about 4 consolidated audit reports that have never been acted on. I remember I raised this issue almost a year ago. If care is not taken, if this executive doesn't act, the statute of limitation may have some people go free, which is a waste of public resources already that are scarce. That is my concern.
It's never late to do what is right.
Yes, the executive is on an obligation to take the right steps to implement these audit reports. For me personally, I don't care who is affected in these audit reports. What my concern is that the resources of Liberia first. This is not about political party. Whoever is affected in these audit reports, for me, justice should be blind. And so, as a government, we have a responsibility. If we don't do it, we actually contribute to the waste of resources that are already not enough to serve our people, which is wrong as a government.
Right. And so the legislature now will have to be able to make sure that the executive can do that. That is doing a follow-up, like you mentioned.
Yes, very good. That's my point. So we don't run into wasting taxpayers' money that's already not enough.
Well, thanks a lot, Representative Clarence Masako. Hope to have you next week to come here and talk about your time in the legislature, because you had a great time there at the ECOWAS Parliament.
Well, yes. Once I'm available in the course of next week, I will be very glad to come on the radio and share my experiences. Probably give some word of caution to the incoming members of the 55th legislature. I've been here 12 years. It has been 12 years, amazing 12 years, years of experience. I would be very glad to come on the radio to share my experience and as I transition. Probably there's a new government coming. But obviously, I will not be in the 55th. I enjoy working in the legislature. It's a very great place. So, yes, I will be willing to come and share my experiences with the public and the new coming members of the legislature.
Well, thanks a lot, Representative Masako.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the great job. Thanks for the great job.
Thank you so much. It's Representative Clarence Massaquoi. Let's get this person on the line. Hello.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Thanks for your patience.
Okay, great. My name is Wiyh, and I was a journalist myself, then moved to politics. And so I'm a politician, in the LPP, Liberian People's Party.
Okay, that is you people with the broom.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
But man, I mean, you kept holding me. I mean, more than 5 minutes, right?
Thank you so much for your patience.
No problem. But here's it. It's just coincident that what I really wanted to talk about, that's what Representative
Massaquoi
spoke about. But
Okay.
what is confusing is when he mentioned of statute of limitation.
Right.
When you have state resources abused, bastardized, and misused by people, individuals taken and used to their own aggrandizement, then you cannot talk about statute of limitation.
Yeah, but it's a law though, because he has an authority being a legislator, so he understands how it is in terms of the statute of limitation.
But then that law should be made public. Laws are intended for consumption of everyone. You don't have to be in the legislature to see that law and to really understand.
That's why we have the radio program every time to be able to inform the public about those things from up Capitol Hill.
No, that's all right. Now do you know that this is my first time tuning to you? So not everybody that might have the opportunity of listening to the radio, but there should be the opportunity of having access to the law and reading it and knowing that there are these statutes of limitation.
Right. But first of all, what do you make of this decision coming up where the legislature now have to be able to have the executive doing a follow-up with the executive to
ensure the implementation of the law.
Of the reports.
Well, what a great move, if it is for the sake of correcting what was wrong yesterday, which is letting the executive branch implement what the GSC says. If it is for the sake of correcting that, then I think it's 100% correct.
Which it is.
Great. And it's so disheartening that now, in fact, we see this new government sitting very soon. By the 22nd January, they'll be sitting. By the 23rd, their feet is going to be to the fire.
In fact, the very day, the 22nd of January, the very day after 1 minute after 12 o'clock, because the new president will be sworn in exactly at 12 noon.
Exactly. So in that case, all issues concerning accountability, whether past, present, his own government members, the most immediate past one, which is President Wiyh, and then the one that he was a part of, here, Madame Saleh, all those concern monies and assets and all that this country should have and prospered and enjoyed and triumph. So if those things were abused, misused, miscarried, arbitrarily, then for me, let the accountability, blanket everybody. And
it's a recommendation from you.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay, nobody will be left off.
That's the point.
Exactly. Nobody will be left off the hook, Mr. Wiyh.
In fact, government is continuity. So
I remember Wiyh from on my radio. Yes, he was part of the public affairs section. 0880-514-096-077-025-9660 are the numbers to join us right here on the program. Let's hope you're able to. In fact, the orange line is very active. 0770-25-9660. Call us to be your part. Let's hear from you. It's your turn to talk. This person on the line. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Let's hear you. Your name, where you call from.
Yes, my name is Kaifa Toure. I join you from district number 3, Painesville.
Great to have you. District number what? 3.
District number 3.
Oh, district number 3. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I must appreciate what the stand the House of the Legislature have taken. Actually, it's kinds of challenging movement. We have interfaced with a lot of constitutional issues, and up to now. So if they are coming out to do short or to speedily do the work of the Liberian people, I actually see it's a tremendous job they are doing. We just have to commend them for their hard work. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks a lot, my dear brother. Another person hit the line. Pleasure to welcome you. Welcome.
Welcome.
Let's hear you.
Thank you. This is G-Share, head of the Disability Council from Santa Clara, GSA.
Oh, great to have you here. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the topic on the discussion. Are you getting me?
Very well.
You see the issues of policies in our countries and our law and everything. You know, we need to do follow up as a government. Follow up is important. Give the people feet at the fire, whatsoever policy that need to intend to implementations in our country. You see, Google laws are on the board, policies are on the board. But when you give the thing here, we need to follow, we have to keep our lawmakers feet to the fire to see the best thing that be done in the country. Because when we look at the country, so we appreciate you for bringing that topic out for our people who we elect and carry in our houses. This is the government. The government, they are the prosecuting arm of the nation. Then sometimes we see the legislature made laws and the old people who supposed to enforce the law now, there is a some shell of city. Step out to development, making our resources to go. Where are we? And the other something that's done when the audit and they will tell the person more when the person more power before audit takes place. I think there's a measure of appropriate or system or policy more put in place. That after any 3 months within a year that there must be audit.
But
I think it would be in the interest of the
that is in place.
There's already in place. That's the
The
implementation aspect.
GSC,
Thanks
the
a lot.
GSC is auditing people.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening. Welcome. Let's hear you.
I'm doing great. And the name is Howard Mataide.
Please go ahead. Where are you calling us from?
I call you from Banga.
Okay. Banga is district number 3 in Bond County.
District number 3 in Bond County. This is a human rights activist. And let me say thank you to all of our callers who are hearing the issue of accountability and transparency for auditing services in the Republic of Liberia. We agree with it. And the fact that the finances belong to our country, we need to do a check meeting. But this is our own recommendation too. The people who committed atrocities should be able to be brought to justice, and for a war crime establishment, we got it.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, please go ahead. You're still on. Well, he's talking about the establishment of a war crimes code. That's his own recommendation. This person in the line, hello?
Hello.
Please go ahead. Tell us the name where you're joining us from.
Yes, my name is M. Kulesibo. I'm calling from Grand Cruz, to be City, Henry City.
Please go ahead. From Grand Crew.
Yes, okay. I want to thank you for this platform. You see, for me, I believe that auditing is the best thing forward to every other thing you do. Even your own business, that you get to somebody to make for you, you have to audit the person. Auditing is the thing that can straight up everything. Because if you don't audit somebody, then you don't know where the person start, where the person stop. So whatsoever good you get to somebody, you have to audit the person. Then you know where to begin from. So for me, I appreciate that idea. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, my dear brother. More of the calls can come. The number 0770259660. We're here up to 6:20, and then we're out of this place. This person hit the line. Pleasure to welcome you. Hello.
This is Mataide from Brown County.
Yes, you were on, but then unfortunately you went off.
Recommending that people who committed atrocities, there should be a war crime code, because the problem we face with this past government has been those political, promises they made, but then they didn't come to fruition. So with these coming back now, the current government that was just elected should be able to bring about change, because this time around, nationally and internationally.
So we have to wait for them to come to power, because inauguration is on the 22nd of January. Can we wait for that time, brother?
This is recommendation, and they are coming to power is key. This is what we're waiting for. But then they should do better than.
Okay, dear brother.
Line again.
Wow. This person, hello. Good evening. Yes, let's hear you. Your name, where you join us from?
All right. This is Samuel S. John Fakoli. I'm calling you from Banga City.
Okay, Samuel, please go ahead.
Okay. I want to thank you people for this show. It's good that people who have the issue of corruption in this country should be audited. This is a good step that the court is taking. But my recommendation also is Mr. Bill Tuare and Mangio, both are senator elect and representative. The same thing that happened to this man from local country that he won election, that he said he have corruption scandal. The
steps should be taken against them. They should not take their seat until the both of them be judged and be audited. Thank you very much.
It is not the legislature that is auditing people. It is the responsibility of the GSC to conduct those audits, and based on the audits, then they submit their reports to the legislature, because they have to report to the legislature.
Exactly.
Then the legislature will go through that and make some recommendation to the executive, and with that oversight, ensure that there is implementation of the law.
Right.
So it is not the legislature that is auditing people.
Please don't put in trouble.
Yes. Even though we have a quasi judicial power, but of course we are not there to audit people.
This person in the line. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome. Let's hear you.
There's a Romeo thing calling from Grand Bassa County.
Romeo, please go ahead.
Yeah, my recommendation is when the people ready to audit, they must start from any government before. They must start from the past government to the going out government. They must start from one side, they must from Georgia government law. They must audit everybody because everybody is corrupt. Don't one person to leave. So they try for audit the whole posting. That's my recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. I think we need not many people really following up, and they think that we're not asking about audit. The GSC, the law says when the GSC does audit, they have to be able to report to the deputies of the people of Liberia. Those people are your lawmakers. So they report when they finish with the audit, they report to the legislature. They carry the audit report. Say, the other one will not do. Then the legislature have a committee called public accounts. Public accounts will now review, because you see in the legislature, people from financial background, they put them on some committee and think to look at financial issues. Then they will have to review that report. They will call the GSC people. They do something called reconciliation. Look at it. They discuss it to the one. Then they will do something called consolidated report in terms of recommendation. It is what that PAC committee in the legislature will do, and then they will forward that recommendation or those recommendations to the executive. And then it's now the executive to be able to act, because the law says we have three distinct branches of the government. We have the legislative branch that there to make the law. We have the executive there to enforce the law. We have the judiciary there to interpret the law. So one
take that call now, talking in simple English,
right,
so that they will understand you good.
This person, hello.
Hello.
Let's hear you. Your name, where you call from?
I'm SCC calling from Kakata.
Okay, Cisse, please go ahead from Kakata.
Yeah, I appreciate what you are saying. It's a true. Our problem in this country, it is an implementation problem. It's not like what these guys are doing today is something strange to us. But the fact that even though GSC is coming out with, or they are close with the authority to do what they are doing, the institution that are responsible to prosecute those that actually find liable of what they have done. So sometimes you will see it will just go somehow that nobody will not understand. But from all indication, there is a new step from us that we can actually see to it that yes, indeed, when we start practicing trusting, there will be a difference in our democracy.
Okay, my brother. Even though it's not a new thing, though, you guys are already there just for the enforcement aspect to go on. This person, hello.
Hello?
Please go ahead. Tell us the name, where you call from.
Lower the volume of your receiver.
You have to lower your receiver. We can't continue with this. Yega, you wanted to bring that down. You lower your receiver, you make your point.
I'm telling you. When you listen to the radio, lower the volume of the radio, yeah? There you call, so that you listen to the phone, then we'll talk to you. Okay, yeah, so I want to talk about this GSC issue. So ever since the GSC, the law of this country, the legislature put them together. And so they get in one act. So that body is responsible to look into where government gave people money or some other thing into news. And you start using it, then it's not going the right way. So some kind of smart noise come from there. And then the GSC and that body say, we'll go to look inside the thing to know whether true statement coming from inside A or some kind of wrong statement coming from inside A. So when they look inside A, then they will say, because the law say they must always report to the legislature when they want to look inside whatever is the nose. Then when they look inside it now, they will send their paper to the lawmaker body. Then the lawmaker body, they get one other smaller group. They call it the PAC, but the book people call it the Public Accounts Committee, the PAC. So that committee will look inside whatever the GAC now sent to them. Say, we'll look inside it here, but this is what we see inside it. So we'll send it to you because the law say we must send our people to you. Then when they finish looking inside it too now, that report the people send, the GAC sent to the legislature, they will add their own to A2. Then they will send it to the executive. It means to the president office.
When
they send it to the president office, because the lawmaker that you put there, so they get another power. They say they got to look over the executive.
Call it oversight.
Yeah, they call that one oversight. So they got to look over the executive now to make sure that the thing what they finish looking in, the GAC send it to them, then they look inside it and send it back to the executive now. They say executive branch, because with 3 branches, we can make a law, and you there now to enforce it. So you got to enforce the thing here. So Representative Clarence Massaquoi from Lofa County District 3 today, he raised that issue in the lawmaker discussion to the House of Representatives. He said, Mr. Speaker, and all my friends here will now be looking at some of the law here from the GAC. And then we think we must ask the executive people now to tell us where we are in terms of implementing all the GAC reports and things, because all the people just pass it around and say the GAC send the people to the lawmaker, but they just laying down. They're not acting upon it. They don't do anything. So the lawmaker say, no, we're working on it, so that I will send it to the president. So that what we're talking here. So in that strange thing, that whole thing, it been happening all along. The GAC been looking in the paper bidding and sending it to the lawmaker ballot.
Yeah, take the final one, then we'll close up. This person, hello.
I think you need to put it on speaker.
Hello. It's on. Let's get this person calling. Hello.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm okay. Tell us the name, where you calling from.
My name is Vasco Yebetus, and I come from Portland Supermarket.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. The president-elect, do you think that he says he promised?
No, please.
We'll get
The program here.
We're
Not the president-elect program. The program, a legislative program. The one that House of Representatives. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the other one?
I'm not sure they can do that one.
The president, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
To your time.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, my name is Benio Bledsoe. I'm calling from Magibi District 1.
Please go ahead.
Yes, my problem I have with the legislature is that when it comes to the budget, don't actually exercise the oversight.
How you say they done now?
Yes. This year, the budget has not been submitted to them on time. Always delayed.
It is not it is the executive that present the budget. It's not the legislature. The legislature don't craft budget. The executive craft a budget.
I know this. I said the executive, delaying, submitting the budget to them for whatsoever they're supposed to do. And then there's no budget performance report and they don't take any action.
No, we have budget performance report.
No,
That's the
they
reason
do that
why
one.
we do something called
revenue.
We get revenue component. It is a revenue component and people now will have to do that. Then they time for expenditure. They will be asking very large ministry and agency.
You have to justify a budget.
Say you gave you 1 million last year. What did you do with it? I want to call it performance now.
Yes, I know this.
Okay.
So many times they have been, inviting the Minister of Finance to come and give budget performance report and send along with the budget, but they are not being, submitted. Always giving excuses, and there have been no action taken by the legislature.
You have to be following their actions. I assure you have to be following. We don't have much of the time here. We have to wind down the curtains, but it's been a wonderful time here on the program today. We hope that those things brought here, the House of Representatives looks hope to extend to adequately scrutinize if the budget is to be passed, which is in keeping with the law, the law of Liberia, the PFN law, with the amendment being done. If the budget is to be passed, which should be passed in December, then there got to be an extension of the regular section of the House.
The lawmakers have always been committed to
so that
working
they
for
can be
their
able to
people.
work on
Maybe
the
they will even
draft
work on
national
Saturday
budget.
and Sunday too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
in the
Just to
interest of
ensure
the country.
parties, yes.
And so also to the House is to make a follow-up with the executive on audit reports from the GAC. Plenary requests have mandated two committees: a committee on investment in agriculture to look at the OPEC Fund for Development as a financing agreement in a tune of 20 million, and so it's something very big. Yeah, I will have to wind down the curtains.
Yes, Thursday will be right here, hopefully to have Representative Clarence Massacre, an astute lawmaker.
Right, to tell his experiences. He had serving 12 unbroken years in the Liberian legislature.
Very good years.
And he also is a very good flow fighter. He also is a regional lawmaker because, of course, he was at ECOWAS. He plays a pivotal role at the Economic Community of West African States Parliamentary Body. So it's very important. House Speaker Buffer Chambers to partake in the 80th section of the Executive Committee and the 45th conference of the Presidents of National Parliamentary Assemblies of African Parliamentary Union in La Cote d'Ivoire. So we wish the Speaker very well. He's going to have some discussion on regional security issues across the region. My name is Robert Haynes. The next time we're here will be on Thursday. Have yourself a God bless evening. Bye-bye.